Well, hello there. It's another day in self-isolation. Hope you're actively practicing physical distancing. I know it's not easy, but it is one of those things that we're just going to have to get used to for the time being. While we're in self-isolation, we do have to look after ourselves, and fitness is definitely a big part of that. So today I'm releasing my 9th workout in the series of home workouts that anybody can do, and today is not going to be about getting your heart rate up by moving fast. In fact, it's going to be about getting your heart rate up moving quite slowly. What we're going to do is a strength building exercise for this workout. So it's going to be 5 rounds of 5 reps of each of these 2 movements, but you're going to do each of these 2 movements as slow and controlled as possible in order to gain strength. So when we don't have a lot of barbells and dumbbells available to us, one of the ways that you can generate strength is by doing what's called the negative of a movement. So instead of doing a whole bunch of pushing, I do a very slow release down to a target. And so in this case, we're going to do 2 movements. We're going to do a negative push-up, and we're going to do a negative Romanian deadlift. So you only need really 1 piece of equipment, maybe 2 pieces of equipment, depending on what it is that you're going to do in this case. I'll give you a couple of different scaling options. For the push-up, we've talked about this in one of the previous episodes. The idea is that we want to maintain a nice, strong, stable core, stay tight through the midsection, and press away from an object. In this case, we're going to start from that pressed position and lower ourselves to that object, whether it's the wall, a countertop, a chair, a bench, the floor. The further down you go, the higher the angle, or really the lower your body is, the closer you are to the ground, the more difficult this will be because you'll be supporting more of your body weight. So if you use something like a wall, you won't be using very much of your body weight. So let me use my rig as a real quick example. So if you're doing a push-up against the wall, in this case because I don't have a wall out here, I'll put my hands in close. I'm going to press away, and I'm going to slowly, while keeping my core tight and my body in a straight line, slowly bring my chest as close as I can to the floor, resisting as much as possible. You'll notice that I'm trying to keep my tempo all the way through that range of motion as smooth as possible. I don't want any part of it to be in a hurry. If you go from a box, same thing. Keep that tightness in your abdominal area. You're just starting from a lower position up on your toes and gradually lower, letting your elbows pass your body on the way down to the box, touch your chest, and you can reset without having to do the press part of it. I just want you to control on the way down. Make it a good 5 to 10 seconds, maybe even go as long as you can for each individual rep. Gaining strength with a negative movement like this, particularly without anything other than your body weight for resistance, is dependent on the total time under tension. So the longer you can make each rep last, the more strength you will gain. If you're going from the floor, or if you want to really get yourself to an advanced level with this, use some kind of object to prop your hands up. That way, by the time you get down to the bottom, you actually have a greater range of motion because you're no longer limited to when your chest reaches the floor. You could go a little bit further and get just a little bit more pump out of this. So I commonly use dumbbells for this sort of purpose. So instead of putting my hands on the floor, I'll put my hands on the handles of the dumbbell so they're a couple of inches off the floor, and that way I can get my chest a little bit further down. But the objective is the same. Slowly and carefully, while keeping my elbows in as tight to my body as possible, let my elbows come by my body to get myself all the way down. And you can either put your knees down and stand up that way, or if you want to give yourself the little bit of pump, press up. So that's one movement. You're going to do that 5 times as slow as you can. Make each one, or ideally, if you can pick a certain number, maybe you count the number of seconds that it takes you on the first rep, try to repeat that. Whatever you're able to do on that first rep, really use that as your benchmark for how much you know you can do, and try to push as hard as you can to get that same number of seconds as you go. But by the time you get into the 3rd or 4th or 5th round, that might be a lot harder. Now, the second movement is a Romanian deadlift. All you need is a heavy object for this. So I'm going to use a paint can as an example. But you could use anything. You could use a dumbbell, you could use a kettlebell, you could use your power tools, whatever has a handle on it that will allow you to hang on to it. This is going to be a one-handed movement, so I'm going to keep the weight on the same side as the foot that I'm planting down. My other leg is just going to go slightly back. I'm going to keep my toes down. What I'm looking to do is I'm hinging at the hip, keeping my right leg in this case, because that's what I've got planted on the floor. I'm keeping it straight. I'm relaxing my arm, and I just want to hinge at the hip, and again, I'm controlling the negative. I'm not looking to go down to the floor fast and then bring it back up. I want to go down to the floor super, super, super slow and reset. So nice and slow. I'm keeping the weight coming in very close to my leg. And you'll notice my hips are not turning away from the weight that I'm carrying. I want to keep my hips pointed straight down towards the floor. If I can get all the way down to the floor, great. If your range of motion doesn't allow you to, as soon as you feel some tightness in the back of your leg, that's more than enough, and just come back up again. So this should be a light enough movement that you can come up fairly easily. The exercise that we're doing here is about resisting the pull from that weight in your hands on the way down. So again, nice and slow, all the way down, and then now my leg is already tight. I haven't actually hit the floor yet, and I'll come back up again to reset. So you'll do 5 of those. So you're going to go 5 and 5 for 5 rounds. So 25 reps in total of each. It doesn't sound like a lot, but depending on how long you're able to make each rep last, you're going to be tired by the end of it, especially if you are keeping that core of the midsection of your body as tight as possible through these movements like you're supposed to. So that's a pretty simple workout for you to do at home. Very easy on equipment. Give it a try. And again, just like I said yesterday in yesterday's video, be sure to share these videos with other people. Hit the share button, hit the like button. Make sure that you like the page. Make sure that you see when new workouts are posted. Subscribe to my mailing list at boxjumper.ca. And just get out and move. Use this opportunity while you're stuck at home to maintain your fitness, because it's definitely something that's super important for absolutely everybody. And given that we've lost some of our freedom to do these things, go to the gym, go to the hockey rink, we got to do what we can while we're at home. So make sure that you make this a priority. Find the time to do a workout like this. Something like this should only take you 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes if you were going super, super slow and taking big breaks in between sets. So this one should be a short one. So have fun with it, gain some strength, and I'll give you something to get the heart rate up tomorrow. Thanks.